That goes for Jamaica, Big Crit Wale, Pusha T, Meek Mills, A$AP Rocky, Drake, Big Sean, J Electron, Tyler McMillan. I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you.
And this is the verse that changed everything.
In the neighborhood, Drake Day going down right now, man. Control the record. People still banging it, man. Where is Drake at with Control?
I'm probably like as done as like the rest of the world is with that record. Like I think it came and it went, you know what I mean? And not to discredit it, like it was a good moment, but at the end of the day, it's just like, it was like one of those sort of like fleeting like Twitter frenzies.
Did that kind of, when you heard your name, did you feel like, man, like that was kind of disrespectful? Or did you feel like, you know, our names were just kind of thrown in there and it was?
I feel like he made a decision, you know what I'm saying? And it was a decision to make, you know? He was like, man, I'm either going to go for this moment because I know it's going to be a big moment, or I'm going to like take heed to the fact that I have real relationships and I'm going to like not do that.
So it's obvious that Drake felt some type of way about the verse, but how did the rest of the rap game feel about it? Well, Kendrick's direct call out to many of the heavy hitters in the game at that time elicited responses from a lot of people, including Joey Badass on Killuminati's Part 2.
You in the swimming pool of champagne, you set yourself up for that one, man. The king in New York, ha, we ain't just gonna let that one hang.
Joe Budden's Lost Control freestyle.
You the king of New York, you might as well have spit on Biggie grave.
Meek Mill's Ooh Kill 'Em.
Now you claiming you the king of New York? What the fuck wrong with you niggas? Stand back.
And the Future remix, or the Drake remix of the Future song Shit.
Gossip, niggas act like they don't know, but they should know. Yeah, I just think it's funny how they dangling the baby, but I'm the one that's killing niggas on the hooks though.
So a lot of people took this, and well, I think the majority of people that had a problem with it, I think it stemmed from when Kendrick replaced the B.I.G. reference in the Jay-Z song Where I'm From his name, B.I.G. to Kendrick's. You know, I think that definitely took some shots in him quoting the movie King of New York or something like that, and people thinking he was proclaiming himself to be the king of New York. It was also something that a lot of rappers and MCs hailing from New York didn't really take well, so they decided, you know, to make a diss as well. But listening to how Drake feels about the Control verse even weeks after the fact that it came out, it shows how much it affected him.
Cause like, you know, I'll be real, like I've thought of doing that before. You know, I thought like, man, it would be crazy if I just went off on everybody, but it's just kind of like, where does it really get me? Then what? Then every time I rap, people are going to expect me to be confrontational, and when I'm not, then it's not entertaining. You know what I mean? It's like, it kind of puts you in a box a bit. So
I don't think that put Kendrick in a box.
I don't know if I necessarily respect it. You know, we all make decisions.
And we all know Drake to be more of the sensitive artist. So I think out of everybody that responded, he took this the most personal. And you know, the timeline of subliminal messages between Kendrick and Drake start during this period.
But it was real cool for like, you know, a couple weeks. But like, if I asked you, for example, like, how does that verse start? And as far as Kendrick goes, like, I can't wait to see what he does, because now it's time to show and prove. And consistency it's been one album. Consistency is like, you need more than one album, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to competition, I'm more worried about consistency. I'm more worried about bodies of work.
Kind of funny to say, a little after this interview in October, the BET Hip Hop Awards was happening, and they had a cypher category where TDE members, including Kendrick, showed off their bars. And Kendrick took this opportunity to rap, "Nothing's been the same since they dropped Control."
Nothing been the same since they dropped Control and tucked the sense of the rapper back in his pajama clothes. Ha ha, joke's on you, high five. I'm bulletproof.
Fast forward a little bit into Kendrick's career, and now we're in 2014, where the Grammys are happening, and he's up for an award. But he doesn't win. Macklemore does. This only confirming that his album titled The Heist was predicting the future. Now you can't lie, he did have some heat during that time, but to win against Kendrick? Crazy. I don't know what the Grammys were smoking on that year. But despite his win, I don't know if Macklemore was feeling some white guilt or something, but he decides to take to Twitter, screenshot a message that he sent to Kendrick the night of winning, apologizing and saying that he should have won. Now, obviously, Drake got a hold of this information and said, hey, if you're giving out apologies, we all need apologies. If it's not clear now, Drake obviously feels excluded from this conversation, a fact that I think he feels a lot during his run through the rap game. Now, Kendrick never really directly responded to this, but around the same time, the year anniversary of the Control verse came out, and he did an interview indirectly kind of calling out shots to Drake.
The people that respected, was people that knew the deal.
Yeah.
What's the important people that respected and knew what it was, and people that don't respect it, obviously they're just people that don't get it, and really didn't matter.
Then there's a little break in the beef. But to sum it up, Drake got into a beef with Meek Mill, and it came out from that beef that Drake had ghostwriters. King Kuta from Kendrick Lamar addresses those ghostwriter allegations that Drake has faced, where he raps, I can dig rapping, but a rapper with a ghostwriter? What the fuck happened? Drake's response to this was on his verse of the game's song 100, where he disses Kendrick and says that if Drake was to go all conscious shit, he would have all of his fans in a sense.
I would have so many friends if I didn't have money, respect, and accomplishments. I would have so many friends if I held back the truth and I just gave out compliments. I would have all of your fans if I didn't go poppin', I stayed on some conscious shit.
And after that, there was a bunch of subliminal messages that anyone could comb through from 2016 to 2018. I'd say the Heart Part 4, I think, was something you can definitely consider to be in the diss category. But nonetheless, Kendrick takes a 5-year hiatus, and even during this time, Drake is still having subliminal shots to Kendrick. Here's a quick clip of Drake on tour.
About these guys that go away 3, 4, 5 years, want to chill out, all that shit. That's not me.
But, okay, even after the 5-year hiatus and coming back, he's proclaiming he's smoking on your top 5 rappers.
Smoking on top 5s. Stop playing, I'm that guy.
He's using his platform with Baby Keem as a way of dissing other rappers. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers wasn't really too focused on his dissing side. Kendrick's dissing side was more of an artistic piece, if anything. But I think he definitely used Baby Keem as a way to address some of the subliminal messages that have been going on and the subliminal shots that have been going on since his absence in the game. So what really sparked this, I think, to me, was first-person shooter, which is why we're all here talking about Kendrick Lamar's Control verse 10 years later. First-person shooter reignited the flame of the beef that all three have shared at one point towards another, and the animosity that one has towards the other. So when J. Cole is addressing the big three like they started the league, I think he's talking about Kendrick Lamar, he's talking about Drake, and he's talking about himself being upon that. Just because, this was a topic that was going around in 2023, so...
Won't, to be honest with you, I don't know who's gonna go back from that and be like, yeah, let's link up, and nah, you know what I'm saying? But he'll be all right. He's a talented dude.
The funny thing is that a couple people were wondering, well, why did Kendrick include Cole in the diss? I think, me personally, even though they were good friends once, there was a potential collab album in the works that eventually got shut down and said, yeah, that's never happening. But I know J. Cole sees them as competitors. But what happened? What happened to the friendly competition?
These are the guys that push you, and you gotta push them. You know what I mean? Where it's like, but what I've been trying to do in the past few years is because I think I was so competitive. I don't know how they would feel. You have to talk to them, but I know for myself, I was so competitive early on that even though we were all friends, I would say we were all friends and friendly. I wasn't I've never been a reach out, you know what I mean? I never been that person, you know what I mean? Especially when there's competition involved, because it's I'm over here doing what I do, you know what I mean? It's almost like working out together. Kind of celebrity, which is, a whole conversation in itself. There might be family, privacy, boom, boom, boom. Nobody can really relate to that like these dudes. And I really genuinely fuck with these dudes. So I've been trying to, absolutely make an effort as time goes on to strip the competition from it. Y'all niggas are cemented forever. Yeah. You know what I mean? I would hope that I'm cemented forever. And if not, I will be.
I think the reason why Kendrick came after Cole is just because of the competitive nature that's always been there. It's like he recognizes Cole's work, but it's like, obviously, I'm better. Drake has popular music, but Kendrick has the respect that Drake can never have, no matter how many hits he has. I think it's just the artist's integrity, or I think it's just the art speaks more volumes than Drake's bodies of work do. That's why he said his best work is a light pack. So we all know that J. Cole doesn't really match up to Kendrick's rapping ability, right? 2014 For Sale Drive is still one of his best albums. But my thing is, with Kendrick, I think he's continued to evolve. Damn is perfect, To Pimp a Butterfly was perfect, he just has consistent hits. I don't think J. Cole has fumbled at all. He's only improved in his rapping ability and his writing skills, but it's hard to catch up to Kendrick when Kendrick came out of the gate, you know, as being the silent blueprint for rappers to come, and this control first change in the game continued to show that this was right. I even think that it could be considered that if Drake was really trying to rap, because we've heard Drake try to really rap, it could be considered better than Cole, you know? Cole just doesn't got it like that. Okay, so in my opinion, Kendrick didn't really reference Cole straight out on the song like that, but he was on the song First Person Shooter.
Love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey or me? We the big three like we started a league.
It's not the big three, it's just the big me, so obviously Cole is included in that, right? Some people will be like, well, why is he sneak dissing even though he already mentioned them in Control 10 years ago? Kendrick is an artist. He doesn't need to come out blatantly and tell you, this is what that means, this is what this means. Here's the whole blueprint to what I was thinking and why I was thinking. It would just dilute the art. You know, it speaks for itself. I feel like the longevity of that song is better now that the fact he didn't diss these people straight out. But everybody knows, you know. So the question is, when it comes to this video and when it comes to the people wondering what's the big three, is there a big three? Let's break it down. So we got the beef on the Drake, the Kendrick, and the Cole part, right? And J. Cole obviously has thrown shots at Kendrick in the past before as well. You know, calling him out for being fake woke and a bunch of other stuff. I'm pretty sure if you wanted to scroll through YouTube, you could find a video on Drake and Cole beef or J. Cole and Kendrick beef. But to me, it's not really important. I always think of Kendrick as the mold and everybody else kind of following suit. So if we take this and let's just take J. Cole and Kendrick, for instance. Let's just compare these two really quickly and discuss why Cole might be out of the picture for the big three and indefinitely. Like I said earlier, even though Cole continues to progress, Kendrick Lamar has already been on that level. I say Kendrick Lamar is the mold when he went on to that conscious rap stuff that really influenced more conscious rap in the future. He was experimenting with more jazz and more heavy musical tones, and I personally think that J. Cole looked at that project and kind of switched gears a little bit, and that's how we got how For Your Eyes Only sounded, which was critically panned from certain J. Cole fans. Why they came to be and why it sounded like that. Me personally, I love the project. I thought it was beautiful, but when it comes compared to, I don't know, To Pimp a Butterfly, they're two different bodies of work. And there's different things to love about each, but I could not sit here and say For Your Eyes Only is better than To Pimp a Butterfly. I simply couldn't. That'd just be cap. That'd be
shit I ever did in my fucking life, right? Why am I tested? Because I got the world and I got my niggas like, what you gonna do, Cole? Like, how many people think Kendrick Lamar is one of the greatest motherfuckers to ever touch a fucking microphone? As do I.
Okay, so if we're looking at J. Cole now after this apology that he debuted, some people are like, oh, he ruined his legacy. My thing is, I'm pointing at you guys, the fans, and blaming y'all for that. Y'all gassed him up. I think Cole definitely knew he couldn't go toe-to-toe with Kendrick, but y'all were like, no, you're the GOAT, no, you're the GOAT, you're the GOAT. And he just felt like he needed to respond, even though he could have just taken what Drake is doing right now and staying quiet. Now, because he apologized and slid back, even though we all knew he wasn't a better rapper than Kendrick, his bodies of work don't even compare to Kendrick. People that think J. Cole is the best rapper alive, to me, are crazy. Is he one of your favorite artists? I understand that. If he is your favorite artist for whatever reason, I understand that. But best rapper, no way. Absolutely not. I think people are just mad that their goat got cooked. He tried to course correct in real time, and I think he still took the mature role. We've always known J. Cole to take the mature role, except, you know, that little beef with No Name and little beefs here and there. But I just think the whole diss came not from a place of actually wanting to do it, but just because the fans wanted it. You know, the fallout's coming and all this stuff. We go, let's go out with a bang. Let's see if we can build up on this momentum. And pie in his face. I don't blame him. I don't blame him for apologizing. I don't think if you say you were a J. Cole fan and you're not a J. Cole fan now because of this, you were never a J. Cole fan. You were never a J. Cole fan. You never understood why you were listening to J. Cole. Something about his music resonated with you. You knew he wasn't the best rapper of all time,
but you respected this craft and you really liked him as a lyricist. And I think that's what people, or at least people on Twitter, forget.
I just want to add to rap beef drama just for
clout and, you know, pay people on Twitter, other stuff like that. You know, some people just get half-baked information and then they just run with it.
But I digress. When it comes to that, we're taking Cole out of the picture, right? His humble harakiri basically got him out of the GOAT talk.
So who are we left now with to discuss about? Kendrick and Drake. If we go back to the album that Kendrick was featured on, that collab album with Future and Metro Boomin, even they have problems with Drake. So having Kendrick on this is kind of like a cosign to this. It's like, yes, we finally have somebody here to, you know, not make us seem crazy.
If we break down Kendrick's verse just a little bit, you know, he'd rather have the respect, which we consider, like we said earlier, we consider that Kendrick has more respect than Cole and Drake. He can hop out in and out of the game. We will listen. We will attentively listen to his projects, and we'll be waiting for the next thing. Drake, he keeps us fed, so there's a trust with Drake that there's not with Kendrick when it comes to delivering music. But I think that's just why Drake's fan base is bigger. Also, you know, he rides waves. Or I'd say he rides waves. He's a surfer. He finds waves to ride and he rides those and finds the next 10. You know what I'm saying? And that works for him. And that's cool. You know, that's Drake is the McDonald's of rap, for me, at least. So McDonald's is good, but you know what? I don't want to hear McDonald's all the time. And I think when you compare influence, I'd say, you know, during the whole 2020 when everything was going crazy, the Black Lives thing was going crazy, All Right became the theme, the anthem for that time. 6 years later, after that album already dropped and it was already a critical success,
it was still relevant. I can't say CLB is still relevant 950 days later after the fact. You know what I'm saying? And Drake's aesthetic is pretty boy music. And you know what? As a pretty boy light-skinned myself sometimes, okay, I should probably stop. I still listen to Drake music, but I understand Kendrick's appeal. Even though I listen to Drake way more, I respect Kendrick's appeal, and I respect what Kendrick has done for the game. So there's that.
And he even recognized this. He's like, you know, Prince outlived Mac Jack, as Anthony Fantano pointed out.
But obviously Kendrick is getting a bit conceptual here and making a comparison. Your pop, your mainstream, your lowest common denominator, you are agreeable. Me, I'm Prince. I'm the experimenter. I'm the innovator. I'm the one who's daring. I am the mold that other people are copying.
You know, the people in my generation probably wouldn't even associate that there was a time where Prince was on the same level and the same topic as Michael Jackson. Which is just funny to point out.
Who's gonna go back from that and be like, yeah, let's do that, let's link up, and nah, you know what I'm saying? But he'll be all right. You know, he's a talented dude.
Does it make you like not want to collab with him?
Yeah, I'm good right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just about this album and me, and you know, I don't know necessarily if I feel like 100%. Like, I'm not like, man, send me some, let's work. Like, nah, not.
My thing is Drake or Kendrick said, but this is hip hop and them niggas should know what time it is, right? They should all know that even though we're all friends, it's a friendly competition. But it didn't continue to be like that. As soon as that Control verse got out, even if he tried to explain to the best of his ability, hey, I got respect for y'all, but I'm better than y'all, or I'm going to try to out-rap y'all, because rap is nothing but braggadocio. We've heard this time and time again. If you're not rapping and thinking you're the best rapper alive, are you really rapping? it's just funny to think Drake would take it so to the heart, even, and continue to like kind of frame and mold his work, even if subtly, towards this kind of thinking. Now, when it comes to this question, I think it's best to look at, when it comes to Kendrick versus Drake, how many beefs has Drake survived? And what were the causes of those beefs? Before we get into the Future and Metro Boomin beef and ultimately try to come to our decision of who's the better artist, Kendrick or Drake.
A lot of people ask me how I'm feeling. I'm gonna let you know how I'm feeling. And listen, the way I'm feeling is the same way I want you to walk out of here feeling about your fucking self. Cause you know how I'm feeling? I got my fucking head up high, my back straight, I'm 10 fucking toes down in Florida or anywhere else I go, and I know that no matter what, it's not a nigga on this earth that can ever fuck with me in my life. And that's how I want you to walk out of here tonight.
Let's just take this beef for example. Joe Budden versus Drake. Joe Budden was just going in on Drake, bars after bars after bars on him. And what did Drake do? He never responded. That made sense a little bit. I feel like Drake, in the public opinion of Joe Budden at the time, was already like, man, get this old man out of here. He's washed. Let's bring in the new generation. You know, no one really cares. And Drake didn't even have to respond to it. So, is that a beef? Yes and no. But it still counts because he made a move to not say anything. Okay. I'd say the next big public beef, like we discussed earlier, was the Meek Mill and Drake beef. Who won that beef? Obviously Drake won. As soon as I say What a Time to Be Alive, or no, if you're reading this too late, and it just solidified everything back to back, and it made me think, you know, I looked at Meek Mill as a great rapper before then. Then he got washed, and then, you know, we all know what happened with Meek Mill's career. It kind of didn't really go anywhere after that. But the next beef, that one of the most significant beefs, I'd say, after that would be the Pusha T one, right? And that was so calculated because Kanye was also in there. You can say Kanye Drake beef too, whatever. But that whole thing was so calculated in every single move that happened, whether Kanye was involved in that move for Pusha T to diss and relieve or reveal Drake's kid has yet to be seen. But the poopity scoop thing that Kanye did when he was going to give him that beat and then took it and then used it for poopity scoop, the whole Pusha T diss, even though Duppy was good, Pusha T's The Story About Dawn was better. Maybe it was just the fact that he dropped the Drake, the kid info that we didn't know, that made it better, that made everyone talk about it.
For weeks, even months. I mean, even sometimes nowadays on end, that really helped it. But the thing is, you might say, okay, Pusha T might have won, but nobody noticed him winning. And that's because Pusha T wasn't really a big artist, and he still isn't. So that kind of beef was able to slide under the door unless you're a real hip-hop fan. And for most people that are Drake enjoyers, kind of forgot about it. And those
that are Drake enjoyers now, or Drake meat writers now, pause no diddy, I'd say most of them probably don't even remember that, or were even consuming music at that time. You know, you got kids like Aiden Ross making relationships with Drake, in like continuing his longevity or his freshness to our youth, that help, you know, whatever he fucks up on. It's kind of like, you know, we're making excuses for the guy. That's basically where I'm trying to get at. So you look at that, and that's a loss too. But the thing was, he couldn't have let that go silent. Because if Drake let that go silent, it would have been indefinite that he lost. So the only way Kendrick can win this beef, and we can all together say, yes, Kendrick, you are the best rapper alive, is if Kendrick keeps this pressure. It takes an immense amount of pressure to get to Drake for him to respond to you, like, right out. But is he going to do a J. Cole and immediately get into the studio? No. He's going to do some subtweets, you know. He's going to be the tweeters and deleters and do what he has to do to make sure he makes the right step. Another thing I wanted to add in before we get into the
meat and potatoes.
Another thing I would say is the Drake and Metro Boomin beef. So apparently Drake wanted to get on a song for Metro's album Heroes and Villains, and he was just playing it for him, and I guess he really liked that song, and Drake was kind of mad that he didn't get on it, right?
I was just in the studio with Drake one time, because we were going to do some stuff for my album, and he just wanted to hear some songs from my album. Then he heard that one and really wanted to get on it, but like I was letting him know that it was really just done for real, and I was really just set on how it was. I was like, bro, I ain't even try to sell you no dream.
But that didn't really happen. Nothing really went with that until Her Law started winning more rap album awards. Metro took to Twitter to complain.
He eventually deletes the tweet.
And that's when Drake does the live stream, the tweet and deleters, and Metro Boomin's response to that was, which is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty funny.
It's just a joke. Come on.
So there's been a little bit of beef on that side. Future, I mean, they've had instances before where like Drake didn't show up for one thing, started from the bottom, and was inspired by Future.
When you make it from the bottom, you the chosen one. So, but we was at the studio, Drake came by the studio, and I always tell my engineer, started from the bottom. So when I put the beats on, I was like, man, put the beats in. So I always say, started from the bottom. So when I say started from the bottom, he thought I was talking about a song. So when I played Chosen One, he loved the Chosen One, but he was waiting for me in Chosen One to say started from the bottom. So he said instantly, he telling me this story. He bought me a bottle of Louis XIII that I never opened up.
Wow.
Because of this story, and I'm like, man, I want a bottle, I need publishing.
Or, you know, if he couldn't make it to this, that couldn't happen. Maybe we were smashing the same girl, Eskimo Brother style, whatever. That also fueled to the maybe disdain, distaste that Future has for Drake. Even though Drake and Future together do well commercially. You know, look up Time to Be Alive. What's that
2020 song that they had? Crap, I forget it. I'll put it in post. But yeah, that song too. And a bunch of more collabs.
Yes. Afterlife? More Life? I don't fucking know. I don't remember. So yeah, that definitely contributed to that as well. Yeah, so I'd say having Kendrick on this album solidifies everybody's little problems that they have with Drake. It's like, oh, finally, we got one more player to add to the Drake hating team, so we don't look like we're crazy. We're just, we're on opposite sides right now. It's a civil war out here. I mean, we got Nav unfollowing Drake. We got Rick Ross unfollowing Drake. We got Travis not wanting to play Kendrick's verse at Rolling Loud. We got 21 Savage that was in the past very adamant of picking a side when it comes to beefs and shit, but he still hasn't taken a side, at least publicly, for everyone to see. Like, hey, I'm Team Drake. Thanks for helping me with Her Loss and making me more money than I've ever seen. But yeah. So that's another thing that we gotta look at. And then you got Drake's dad doing the IG post about the dissing and all that stuff, and it's just going crazy. So this album drops, promo's going okay, promo's going well, and then Metro Boomin gets hacked, right? And this hacker says all this bunch of stuff that's kind of dissing everybody, Villanera, hashtag, all that stuff. And then it comes out that Metro, a couple days after, tells everyone, tells us, the listeners, the fans on Twitter, that he got hacked and that he didn't write all those corny tweets, but that, we don't trust you, yada, yada. And he said some stuff, but it still was on brand for what the vibe was out for. But we hadn't seen Metro Boomin that adamant about anything. We haven't seen Metro Boomin that adamant about anything online, because he doesn't really talk too much. He just kind of lets his works speak for themselves and kind of stay silent, and does what he has to do. He's not really known for talking out like that. So all that stuff that was said was a little like, Oh, I can see it, but I just didn't expect he would really go out like that, you know, or he would start talking that much smack, which technically he didn't. But anyways, I guess this all is really leading to a good album rollout. I mean, Metro has a #1 right now. He's got a couple songs on the charts, Billboard Hot 100s now because of this, and I think it's going to stay there for a while. I think all this is just good promo. I mean, Metro's had good rollouts for a lot of his albums, Heroes and Villains. Savage Mode 2 was carried just by it being the second Savage Mode, also narrated by Morgan Freeman. The Spider-Verse track that he was able to produce was also definitely cool. Another promo thing, Heroes and Villains, yada yada yada. All this great stuff. So his album rollouts are great. So I think he's finally in a position where he feels like, you know, he can stand toe with Drake and not have to suffer the consequences as much as someone else would if they had beef with Drake and were public about it as well. So I think we can't really say anyone has officially won yet until Drake says something. And is saying nothing winning? No, it's not. Not when you're going this hard. I mean, there was a time where Drake got dissed so bad, he threatened something to happen. I forgot what it was. He threatened home. What was it? I'll look it up right now. Okay, so Jay Prince, one of Drake's people, said that Drake's response to the Pusha T thing would destroy families, and we never heard it. We never heard what was going to come after the Duppy freestyle. And the thing is, Pusha T was able to talk shit about his mom, his dad, his kid, and his baby mama, as well as his baby, as well as his best friend. But he felt he needed to fall back and not go in on him. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, in this case, because Kendrick is such a big figure, and you know, silently losing the beef is not really an option like it was for Pusha T, for, you know, the Pusha T beef. If Drake doesn't say anything, it's a wrap. Kendrick wins. Kendrick is smoking on your top 5. Kendrick is big him. It's just big me. There is no big 3. The big 3 is cooked. With that being said, thank you for listening to this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If there's any other thing you want us to cover, let us know in the comments. We're thinking about doing the fall off of Tribute Red. Let us know in the comments if you'd like that. Bye.